what was so refreshing about the way he wrote this novel was his absolute candid honesty about every tumultuous, radical endeavor that he went through, and he held nothing back. He pulled no punches. And I think whenever you're presented with an opportunity to do a movie, you look for that kind of honesty in a lead character and a storyline. And he was unapologetic about his actions and about his lust for wealth and his lust for consuming everything around him. And that's just a basis for a great character and a great story. And also, of course, the fact that he ultimately had to pay the price is really something that makes for a great movie. Originally, we got the screenplay, and I just fell in love with this character. I really wanted to do this movie, and Scorsese was very much interested in doing the project. We had just finished Shutter Island. We were trying to set the film up, but the financing fell through, and he went on to go do another project and was about to do another one, and I was trying to move on with another director, but I just couldn't get Scorsese out of my mind for this material, because there's something that we've seen in his work wherein he's able to bring out a life in these characters, a reality, and a sense of humor to that dark side, which is so apparent in this movie, which very, very few filmmakers can accomplish. So I couldn't get him doing this specific material out of my mind. And Terry Winter's script had so much humor in it, and in a lot of ways I remember him telling me about Goodfellas being, almost a dark comedy. That was his original intent with that film, and this lent itself to that, that style of filmmaking. So I reapproached him and I said, look, we have these great partners in Red Granite with Joey and Reza, who are not only financiers but collaborators, and they essentially, they want to give us free rein to explore that dark side and not do a sort of G-rated version of this movie, and they want to, give us the budget to sort of show the epic expanse of this world in the 90s in America. And this is one of those rare times in our careers where we're going to be able to do what we want. And I'd encourage you, to try to take another shot at looking at this. And so he did, and luckily we got to make the movie. And it is one of those rare experiences where, the artists get really free creative control of what they did, and that was the attitude of making this movie. And I wish more movies were like that. Well, that's always the big question that you have going into a movie, whether, you feel audiences will be responsive to people committing atrocious acts. And it all depends on, not only the subject matter, but I think the honesty in the way you depict these people. And that was one of the things that Marty said very early on. He's like, through my experiences in making movies, if you're authentic with the characters and who they are and don't betray that, people will go along with anything. And that stuck with me. And it's true for, so many great, character studies that we've seen in the past. As long as they ring true and they're authentic, you'll go on any journey with them. Some of the greatest characters of all time have all been pretty tumultuous, horrible people. and what surprised us about making this movie was, I think there's a huge distaste in America, and certainly around the world, for, Wall Street and corporate America after what's recently gone on in our economy. And, would people be attracted to going on a journey with these characters sort of, running wild with America's money in their hand? And what was surprising is, the fact that you can't help but, not necessarily root for these guys, but want to watch them disintegrate. You want to watch these guys that have a complete disregard for anyone or anything except themselves and their own lust for greed. And it's you know, it's ironic, but it's incredibly entertaining. It's one of those, you know, rare opportunities where we got to really improvise and do something that we thought was very much of our generation. You know, this was not classic material. This wasn't, an iconic piece of American literature. This was one man's account of a very insane time in recent history. So all those cultural references were there, all those things that we identified with and could understand that were happening right now, we got to put up on film.